The Arizona Cardinals rack up another impressive win, trouncing a competitive Chicago Bears team and moving into sole possession of first place in the NFC West with tiebreakers against the second and third place teams. Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns, where we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing. And what we saw on Sunday was a Cardinals team that was well coached in all three phases of the game and executed in all three phases of the game. Now there were a lot of cool things and interesting twists and turns that I want to show you, so this entire video will be presented to you ad-free after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Let's get right into it. We're going to start things off with a classic James Conner run. And we're going to take a look at a lot of running plays today because Arizona was creative in the run game all day long. Here, they used the left tackle, Paris Johnson, and the left guard, Evan Brown, to double team the inside tackle for the Chicago Bears. They pull the right guard all the way around to pick up the defensive end, and this would be the hole that James Conner would run through. Once the defensive tackle is out of the way, we would see Paris Johnson do something the best offensive linemen in the league do. Try to block a second player on the same play, the middle linebacker. But Tremaine Edmunds is able to get around him. But here we would see the outstanding running ability of James Conner. First, the vision to recognize this and make a cut. Absorb contact, keep momentum, get north and south, and run through tackles to gain extra yardage at the end of the play. A great run. Facing a 3rd down and 1, the Bears would like to hold Arizona to a field goal here, so they get creative on defense, only rushing with 3 of their down linemen and dropping a defensive end into a zone. They also send a linebacker and a corner blitz as well, making this a 5-man rush. But on the left side of the field, a picture is starting to emerge. At first glance, it might look like the Bears have 3 defenders against 3 Cardinal receivers. But take a closer look at the route of Trey McBride. It looks like he's going deep, and the safety on the play knows that he can't give up a touchdown, so he does the right thing and defends the end zone. And this allows McBride to cut to the inside. And this puts the outside linebacker in a difficult position because he has to defend not only McBride but also the route of James Conner as well. Both are coming into his zone. When he steps up to pick up James Conner, Kyler Murray is all over it. Now I mentioned that the Bears sent a blitz, and here we would see great chemistry of the Arizona offensive line to pick up that blitz. First of all, on the left side, Paris Johnson realizes the end is dropping back into coverage and immediately moves to help the left guard, double teaming the tackle. On the right side of the formation, the right guard picks up the end while the right tackle picks up the linebacker. Again, this is just great chemistry. And the corner blitz comes way too late to impact the play. About the only negative thing I can say on this play is that the center gets beat, but he hooks his man long enough that by the time he gets through it's already too late. Murray has already identified the open receiver on the play. And the Cardinals would punch it in with... No, it's Trey McBride on the end around, and he reaches the ball across the pylon. Touchdown Cardinals. Wow. At the snap, the entire Cardinals line moves to their right, along with the fullback and James Conner. And it's easy to understand why the defense reacts in the way that they do. Meanwhile, McBride is coming around the other way with a head of steam. He's essentially one-on-one with Kevin Byard in a race to the pylon. So Arizona takes an early lead, 7-0. But the Bears would get the ball back, and here they're facing a 3rd down and 5. So Arizona starts with 2 safeties back deep. But we would see Budda Baker drop down. And what Arizona is doing here is essentially defending this line to gain. They're trying to make it difficult for the Bears on third down. But with no safety back on that side of the field, Odunze simply goes deep, and Caleb Williams spots him. And this was probably the only major miscue I saw from the Cardinal defense on the day. It's a big play that would lead directly to a Chicago field goal attempt, and they knock it through, getting on the board but still trailing 7-3. And this time it's the Bears defense that sets up right at that line to gain. So Arizona challenges them deep with Michael Wilson. And Tremaine Edmonds, I thought he was just going to carry Wilson through the zone, which he should do, but instead he sticks with him all the way man-to-man, a bit of a mistake as both safeties for the Bears also go with him, resulting in 3 defenders on 1 receiver and leaving nobody, for instance, on Greg Dortch. And take a look at Edmonds. His back is completely turned, so he also doesn't see Marvin Harrison Jr. coming across into his zone. And finally, if we turn our attention to the pocket, we can see Victor Dimukeje is getting a great push on the right side of that line, but Kyler Murray is so comfortable just moving around, stepping up in the pocket, buying enough time for these routes to develop. Fumble, and the Bears pick it up and are able to gain some yards on the return here. A big play for Arizona on offense, but a big defensive play at the end by the Bears defense. Chicago would convert the turnover into points, but the Cardinal defense would once again hold them to a field goal. So even though the Bears score here, they're still trailing on the scoreboard, 7-6. Kyler Murray changes the play. And check out Tip Raymond. That's the rookie tight end for Arizona, passing the audible along to the receivers. And it's a good thing he does, as we'll see. And it's a running play to Trey Benson. Once again, Arizona uses the right tackle to pick up the inside defensive tackle for the Bears, leaving the defensive end unblocked. Raymond heads downfield and picks up the linebacker. And check out the receiver, Michael Wilson. He heard the play, he knows he's supposed to go downfield and block, and he picks off the safety, and this would end up being an important block at the end of this play. And this time it's James Conner who hammers the Bears on the ground. And Arizona would stay creative in the run game, using the center to block the inside tackle and pulling the left guard around to pick up the other inside tackle for the Bears. This frees up the right guard to swing over and pick up the defensive end. And all this means that the right tackle has nobody to block, so he heads downfield and picks up the linebacker. And since James Conner is running to his right, this time Arizona doesn't bother to block the defensive end on the left, leaving him unblocked. And this in turn leaves the offensive tackle on the left side, Paris Johnson, with nobody to block, so he heads downfield and picks up the other linebacker. And just watch how all of this unfolds. And then Conner punishes the safety at the end of the play. The offensive line just played really well in this game, and the Cardinals were able to hammer the Bears on the ground, and this drive would lead to another Chad Ryland field goal attempt. But check out number 99, Gervin Dexter. Watch his left hand. He uses it to push down on one of the blockers on the offensive line for Arizona, giving him leverage to jump up and try to block that field goal. That is against the rules. You can't do that, and you would see flags come out everywhere. This would be a personal foul that would give the Cardinals an automatic first down, allowing them to continue this drive. Wow. And Arizona would punish the Bears for the mistake, punching it in with Trey Benson. As time winds down in the first half, the Bears would add one more field goal, which they would knock through. So let's take a minute to talk about the game situation here. Arizona has the lead 14-9, and we can see that there's only 12 seconds left, but with the ball at midfield and 2 timeouts left for Arizona, they are in excellent position to try to get one more completion to get one last field goal right before the end of the half. They are facing a third down, so Chicago would set up in a pretty standard defense here. They would like to stop Arizona on third down to prevent them from getting an attempt at a last-second field goal. Let's take a look at their approach. Chicago decides to be aggressive here. They could have stuck everybody back, make sure they don't get beat deep or anything like that, but then they might give up a completion over the middle, which would get the Cardinals to that last-second field goal they're trying to avoid. So here the Bears take a risk and send a corner blitz, and this would be important. And we've rotated the camera here because this end zone shot is the perfect angle to take a look at this play. And I think Arizona surprised Chicago here by calling a running play. Once again, they used their offensive tackles to pick up the inside defensive tackles for the Bears. The left guard and the tight end head downfield to pick up the linebackers, and the right guard swings around to pick up the defensive end to that side. And we can see the center behind him getting ready to follow him, and remember that Chicago had sent a blitz. Well, the center picks him up, and that's going to be the hole that Emari Demercado runs behind. And when you send a blitz on one side as a defense and the offense completes a successful play to that side of the field, that can be a very dangerous thing defensively, because now you have one less person to try to make the tackle on that player. You've already sent them on the blitz. And in fact, take a look at this. Once again, Arizona leaves the defensive end on the left side unblocked, and he's going to be the only player that has a chance of making this tackle, but he's got to go all the way across the formation through traffic to try to do it, and just watch how this plays out. He can't get there, and Demercado is gone. Great effort by Greg Dortch way down the field, too. Great play design, great execution by the players, and a great play call by the coaches who completely caught Chicago with their pants down in that moment. A devastating touchdown right before the end of the half. So as we move into the third quarter here, Arizona has the lead 21-9, and they have the ball. Their offensive line has been playing so well, and after having so much success with the run in the first half, here they line up with 3 tight ends and James Conner. And they would fake the run to him to that side. After getting hammered on the ground, it's easy to understand why the Bears defense would react so strongly to this. But this is a play we actually took a look at last week when Arizona played Miami, faking the run to one side and sneaking a tight end out to the other side. Complete to McBride, hurdles the defender and gains extra yards at the end of the play. Wow. Arizona would tack on another field goal at the end of this drive, and they're starting to pull away now, 24-9, and that was a long drive by the Arizona Cardinals. And you can see we've moved into the fourth quarter now, where Chicago, despite that stingy Arizona D, has finally mounted a drive and has the ball inside Arizona territory. So they really don't want to punt this football, even though they're facing a 4th down and 10. They feel compelled to go for it here. And this play is just a great look at that defense, which played so well on this day. They start off with 2 safeties back deep, and again, despite being way back there, Budda Baker would come on the safety blitz. That wouldn't necessarily be a factor on this play, but Arizona would play stingy man-to-man coverage here. So let's take a look at the defensive line. Because Kaiser White is also in man-to-man coverage on Roschon Johnson, but his presence up near the line of scrimmage draws the attention of the center. Now that's one fewer blocker that the Bears have, and the front four for the Cardinals is able to get through for the sack. And look at that, Williams goes down behind that 40-yard line, so Arizona is already in field goal range with the change of possession. At the snap, Zaven Collins just beats his man right off the line, and we can see the left tackle setting up to the outside, so Mack Wilson goes to the inside. But with the center occupied, he gets right through, flushes Caleb Williams, and Collins is there to wrap him up for the sack. 2 sacks for Collins in this game. It's a turnover on downs, so Arizona is awarded possession, and they only gained 3 yards on the ensuing drive, but as I mentioned, they were already in field goal range. It's a long one, but Ryland knocks it through, and Arizona extends their lead further, 27-9. Chicago would get the ball back, but when it rains, it pours, and here they're backed up on their own 1-yard line, and we're going to take a look at Tevin Jenkins here is engaged up high on Kaiser White. Now there's a rule in the NFL, when someone is engaged high, you cannot assist with the blocking by then going low. You cannot do a high-low block at any point for safety reasons. It's very dangerous, and this is not like a new rule or anything. This has been the deal for a long, long time in the NFL. DeAndre Swift goes low, and that would be a penalty, which occurs in the end zone, giving the Cardinals a safety, meaning they get 2 points and the ball. Chicago is required to kick off to Arizona here. With nothing to lose, the punter just kicks the ball as high as he possibly can, just hoping for something chaotic to happen. But we see DJ Tallis clearly calling for the fair catch, meaning not only is Chicago not allowed to hit him after the fact, they also have to allow him the opportunity to make the fair catch. Again, this Cardinals team just seems extremely well coached and well prepared for virtually any situation that arises. I'm sure that Arizona could have kicked a field goal here on 4th and 1 and scored more points, but at this point, the priority probably has more to do with taking time off the clock and ending the game. So they make the decision to go for it, trying to get a fresh set of downs to take more time off the clock. It's the logical move. It's the quickest path to the locker room. The exchange isn't clean, it's fumbled, and Chicago would end up taking over. Facing 4th and 5 with less than 5 minutes to go, this truly is a last gasp for Chicago. Arizona defends this by only rushing 4. Chicago has to get a lot of things done on this play. For one thing, they need to pick up the first down, but they also need to get a chunk of yardage quickly. And ideally, they would like to get out of bounds to stop the clock, since time is also a factor too now. So they're going to try to hit this deep out to Keenan Allen. And this is a pretty difficult throw in the NFL, one that not every quarterback will attempt, because you have to fit this ball in between these two defenders. A lot of times this can end up getting picked off, or the receiver can get blown up on the play. However, here Williams correctly diagnoses that the safety is going with the deeper route, and even though he's standing on the far hash, he has the arm talent to get this ball all the way down the field and outside the numbers. And Allen makes the catch, but just can't quite get down inbounds, so it's an incomplete pass, and Arizona would take over. And as a matter of fact, for Chicago, this was a nice try. It just turned out to be a bridge too far. And that'll about do it. With a 20-point lead, Arizona just concentrates the rest of the game on running the clock out, and they would go on to win pretty easily in this one. That would be your final score. 3 wins in a row now for the Arizona Cardinals, who have faced a tough schedule this season, but have looked impressive from week 1. And it's no coincidence that they are in sole possession of first place in the NFC West. The Rams are right behind them in second place, and they've got a Miami Dolphins team coming to town. And in third place, the San Francisco 49ers have to go all the way across the country on the difficult road trip to Tampa Bay, who with Baker Mayfield has been in every single game so far this season. Arizona, on the other hand, has the New York Jets coming to Arizona. The Jets are not a complete team. In fact, we know for a fact they are in a little bit of disarray. Arizona is favored in that game. Well, what a season this is turning into for the Arizona Cardinals. Where do they go from here? They're still in the stage where we're just taking this one step at a time here. All right, I want to thank all my new subscribers. We do these videos every week, so if you like what you see here, please subscribe. I also want to thank those of you who have gone the extra mile to help this channel out. Your support really means a lot to me, especially now. I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And of course, I need to extend an extra special thanks to our Patreon supporters. You guys are an essential part of this team. I could not do these videos without you. Thank you so much. All right, it's going to be the Jets at the Cardinals. What a game that is going to be. Aaron Rodgers against that defense. I don't know what's going to happen in that game. I can't wait to see it. And either way, you know we are going to be here to break down that film, and I will see you guys then.